Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the school board meeting for the City of Manassas. Will you please stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mrs. Garza, would you please call the roll?
Yes, ma'am. Chair Seberg.
Here.
Vice Chair Stevens.
Here.
Mrs. Williams.
Here.
Mr. Hollingsworth.
Here.
Mrs. Brooks. Mrs. Ball.
Here.
Mrs. Brescia.
Here.
Miss Ivan.
Here.
And Miss Bland.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Brooks is on her way. Dr. Newman, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda this evening?
No, ma'am.
Can I get a motion for public meeting agenda approval?
Chair, I move that the School Board of the City of Manassas approve the public meeting agenda as presented.
I have a motion by Vice Chair Stevens, second by Mrs. Spall, that the School Board of the City of Manassas approve the public meeting agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. First up on this evening's agenda is the superintendent's announcements and spotlights. Mrs. Radford.
Thank you, Chair Seberg. Good evening to other members of the board tonight, and good evening to everyone that has joined us this evening. It's so exciting to always have guests with us during our meetings. I am very honored to stand before you to share some spotlights tonight. A very exciting one, first of all, with our students from Metz Middle School. You see back in the corner our football team. I want to give congratulations to them for a stellar season. Their coach, Brian Hogan, is here, and I'm going to let him give you a little bit of the background about why they are here tonight. Coach Hogan.
All right, good evening, everyone. We had a pretty good season this year. We actually went from a 0-6 team to a 6-0 team. One good, not that the whole season wasn't good, but one of the best parts of it is our defense only allowed 6 points all season. So. It's not all about me. I have a couple of excellent coaches. Sean Elliott. Who ran the offense, and Coach Jones, who ran the defense. Is Mr. Davis here? No? Okay, could you guys come down? Come on. Come on.
Congratulations again to our undefeated Mustangs. We're going to give them a moment to go ahead and exit. They got school tomorrow, so this is a good time for them to go ahead. Congratulations, guys. Thank you, Mr. Morris. Okay, do I have Aiden Castaneda Garza here? Come on. Aiden successfully auditioned and made it into the Virginia Music Educators Association Senior Honors Choir for 2023. This is the top honor recognized by the state of Virginia in singing for seniors. Auditions consisted of a prepared piece and a sight reading exercise prepared in multiple keys. Only about 125 students make this honor choir from across our state. Aiden will be traveling to Richmond November 16th through the 18th to participate in the honor choir conducted by Dr. Amanda Kist from Frost Music School from University of Miami. Congratulations to Aiden. Yes, your family is welcome to come. Oh, and his choral director as well. Come on up. As I mentioned during the last meeting, October is National Bullying Prevention Awareness Month. Tonight, Dr. Monique Cowell is here with us. She's our Student Support Coordinator for the division, and she will share highlights of some of the activities our students and staff have participated in to recognize this very important topic this month. Dr. Cowell.
Good morning, good evening, afternoon, excited. All righty, well, thank you all. I am more than excited to go over with you what Manassas City has presented for Bully Prevention Month. This month, our counselors worked rigorously on promoting a bully-free school system. Manassas City Student Services is more than thrilled that they have developed a new bully prevention protocol that our students and staff and faculty and even our families have been made aware of that they will be doing throughout the district. Thank you. To kick off our Bully Prevention Month, our very own Superintendent Dr. Newman signed our Bully Proclamation. So that was our kickoff. We have partnered with the Stomp Out Bully Prevention Program. And so he signed our proclamation. This proclamation is throughout all of our division, throughout our schools. It is on our monthly newsletter for student support so that our families and our students are aware that Manassas City Public Schools will and has been bully-free, or striving to be bully-free. So our protocol here that we have designed. Then, got our protocol down. We got our marching orders that we, from our National Coalition of Bully Prevention, and then we decided, hey, we're getting ready to rock out bullying, right? So here we go. And October 2nd, our school board, our superintendent, our staff, our students, they said we're getting ready to blow out bullying, and it's going to be amazing, amazing month. So they rocked out this cool blue, and they showed out. We got folks coming to central office taking pictures. These pictures are still coming in, guys. So if you want a full view of what everyone has done throughout this month and dressed up really cool throughout it, please check out our student support newsletter. We got some really funny, good shots of our students and our staff, and so please just check us out. Then, on October the 18th, our families, our students, and our staff started and participated in Unity Day. So our school board showed out. I mean, and I'm telling you, it was a big thing. It was a big thing when Seaberg sent this good picture, and we were at the night before texting each other, talking about, okay, how are we going to get our orange gear together and beat this picture? Nobody beat it. I mean, we didn't top it. I mean, but we were cute trying to do it. So here are some pictures of some highlights of the Unity Day and what we did to support bully prevention, not only just within Manassas City Public Schools. This is a major and national initiative throughout the world. So we partner with other schools, other districts, actually even other countries to rock this orange for Unity Day. So it was an amazing turnout. Our faculty, like I said, I got into it, but look at central office. You guys rocked it out. But our students did too. Really, really got creative and involved within the work. And so on October 18th, I can't even go with all of the students or with everything that all we did throughout the month. But our dean students got really into it, and they created a very cool presentation for you all to just see. Can I open it? All righty. These are our dean students, and they created a bully, go away just for you guys. Well, if you didn't hear it, they screamed, bully, go away. And they were super excited about it, and actually next week, the whole entire second and I think fourth grade are going to do it again at lunch. So they were there, and they want to do it. Not that it was student or counselor-led or teacher-led. They said they're going to do it again. And so they learned what it means to not only be bully-free, but how can they support their friends that, so they are not being bullied, and where they should tell if somebody is. And so our schools, our elementary schools, really got into it throughout the month. They have counseling lessons that are taking place, Be Kind posters, bulletins, and things of that sort is going throughout all of this school. And so if you hadn't gotten out to those schools and taken a look at them, please make sure that you do that. They got some major highlights. Again, here's my plug for our student support newsletter. Everything that they have done in the schools, we've combined it all into one newsletter so that you can check it out if you can't make it to all the schools, so it's there as well. And here's just some highlights. Something happened. I didn't do it. I promise you. All right. And then, so in addition to our elementary schools, our intermediate, and middle schools began to work really cool, hard on some posters and some bulletins. And so METS had a bully poster contest throughout, where the schools and the students created posters, and they posted them throughout the school, and they had 3 winners. And so there's our winners. And so they were interactive. They had a few things they had to do in order to make these posters work. They had to create or include all of the components of bullying, so it could be cyber, physical, mental, and physical in their poster, and they had to be very creative. And the folks who got the most or the highest votes actually won a couple prizes actually. So they got pizza, somebody got some donuts, and I think there was a gift card donated somewhere too to one of the classes, one of the students. So this is just a few. They all did an amazing job, and wanted to highlight them. And then our beacon of all of our schools, Osborne, they rocked it out with a bullying campaign, and they had a photo booth set up in the cafeteria. These posters are all on social media too. So if you just put in Manassas or Osborne High School, they bullied, they put their pictures up, #against-bullying, and they have been taking pictures in this, at this photo booth throughout the day in the cafeteria. And actually, it stayed up a little bit longer, so they've been taking pictures all daggone month long, especially those girls, they was being lit, they say. So we're rocking out Bullying Prevention Month, and we are still going. The highlights are still coming. Please check out the Student Support Newsletter if you want to see more of what Manassas City is doing. Thank you all so much for your support and bearing with us as we navigate this technology. But we rocked out, and thank you, School Board, for showing out too.
Thank you, Dr. Cole.
And as she leaves, you know, when the screen went down, there was a couple of the intermediate schools and what they did. I think we weren't able to show those. Here are some more of the highlights from the elementary schools. Round, you see all of them rocking the red and working together. It was really exciting to know that our students, you know, signed this pledge that they talked about saying no to bullying. So I think the excitement around the division was really high this year. Again, we're happy to be back in full swing in the school system, not hybrid or anything like that. And so just to see the unity among the students, all of the colors, the blue and the orange throughout the month was just really awesome. So thank you to Dr. Colwell for leading that charge, student services for all that they did with our counselors, our social workers, everybody in the buildings that were participating in this. And it was nice to see our board members and also at central office, everybody got into the school spirit in support of this important topic. Thank you, Dr. Colwell. Okay, and now we are ready to turn our attention to our Apple and Pear Award recognitions. We are pleased to present our first Apple and Pear Awards for this school year. Apple Award winners represent members of our instructional staff in the division, and each person was nominated by one of their peers. Pear Award winners are employees who support the teaching and learning environment in many other ways, often behind the scenes. Like the Apple Award, they too are nominated by one of their peers. So I will introduce them to you at this time. From Baldwin Elementary, Andrea Martins. Ms. Martins is a dedicated and knowledgeable third grade ESOL teacher. She is collaborative in nature and is always seeking ways to be efficient and thorough to maximize staff and student needs. Baldwin says they are very fortunate to have her, and you must stay here with us, please. Congratulations. From Dean Elementary, Maddie Edmonston. Ms. Edmonston is an early childhood special education, or ECSE, pre-K teacher that truly does it all. At the beginning of the year, she volunteered to teach an extra class because there was no teacher. She organizes donation drives for families in need and young mothers at the high school. Thank you to Ms. Edmonston. You are truly an example of a dedicated teacher and a supportive coworker. Congratulations to you, Ms. Edmonston. And from Hayden Elementary, we have Kara Hagerman. Ms. Hagerman is a first grade teacher who has devoted 29 years to Hayden. She is supportive and kind to her students and fellow staff members. She shows her students and their families how much she loves them. She is a member of the Sunshine Committee and the core team. Ms. Hagerman goes above and beyond to help others, especially her team. She is a role model for all teachers. Congratulations, Ms. Hagerman. From Round Elementary, Katie Novinger. Okay. Ms. Novinger is the Instructional Technology Training Specialist, or ITTS, at Round, and so we congratulate her in her absence. From Weems Elementary, Amy Miller. Amy Miller is a school counselor that does whatever it takes to support students and staff. Her ability to manage the different layers of communication that are required as a counselor is extraordinary. Weems says they are lucky to have her on their team. Congratulations to you. Well, you might have to scoot around a little bit. Next, from Baldwin Intermediate, Lauren Gardner. Ms. Gardner is a special education teacher at Baldwin Intermediate. She is ready to make a plan of support for any teacher that needs it and helps out with a beautiful balance of logic and heart. She takes the time to build relationships with her students. Needless to say that Ms. Gardner is a hardworking and supportive teacher, and Baldwin loves you. Congratulations. From Mayfield Intermediate, Rebecca Porter. Special ed is rocking it out tonight, y'all. Rebecca Porter is a dedicated special education teacher who brings grace and kindness to her classroom every day. Her students' needs vary, often shifting rapidly, but she skillfully manages these challenges and changes. She is a true asset to the Mayfield staff family, and they wholeheartedly support her nomination as Mayfield's Apple Award winner. Congratulations. I'm telling you, Mr. Masiak is beaming over here. From Metz Middle School, Brenya Hannes' daughter. Ms. Hannes' daughter is the Special Education Department Chair, and every day she demonstrates her leadership skills and is a constant support for every member of her department. She is also the volleyball and soccer coach of 2 athletic teams at Metz. She is just as patient and kind with her athletes as she is with her students. She's very committed to the students and the staff at Metz. Thank you for all you do, and congratulations. And from Osborne High School, Saul Badgie. Mr. Badgie is an incredible special education teacher and person. He goes above and beyond to make sure his students are cared for and heard. He demonstrates what an excellent teacher should be and really puts in the effort to make sure his students are successful. Mr. Badgie represents Osborne with great pride, a smile, and always has a positive attitude each and every day. Congratulations to you, Mr. Badgie. And these are all of our Apple Award winners for this quarter. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you so much for what you do. All good? All right. Congratulations and thank you. Go Mets. All right, and now on to our pair award winners. From Baldwin Elementary School, Olivia Zilsdorf. Ms. Zilsdorf is a go-getter. She adds many great qualities to Baldwin Elementary. She orchestrates the afternoon car line, runs the Baldwin Monday broadcast, and is available to support many aspects of the school. Baldwin appreciates having her strong work ethic and creativity within their school. Congratulations to you. And now from home of the Dolphins, Dean Elementary School, Pearl Ellis. I've known Miss Ellis a really long time. Congratulations to her. Pearl Ellis takes pride in her job as the custodian at Dean, and it shows with how great the school looks each and every day. She is often called for multiple situations at once and makes sure to fix every problem in a timely and efficient manner. She motivates others to always put in their best effort and is an asset to the Dolphin family. Congratulations, Ms. Ellis. From Hayden Elementary School, we have Lindsay Sands. Love those Hawks. Lindsay Sands is a service-oriented special education paraprofessional. She is very hardworking and always cares about fulfilling her assigned responsibilities to her students. Additionally, she assists the homeroom teacher and is available to help with other students. She engages with the school at social events and has meaningful relationships with Hayden's students. Ms. Sands makes Hayden a happy place to be. Congratulations. Next, from Round Elementary, we have Sandra Lacey. Sandra Lacey, a dedicated staff member at Round, is known for her strong work ethic. She willingly assists her colleagues and consistently fulfills every request, all while maintaining a cheerful disposition. Long before being appointed as the head custodian, Ms. Lacey proactively assumed additional responsibilities and extra hours to ensure the building's impeccable condition. Round extends their heartfelt appreciation to Ms. Lacey and believes she is truly deserving of this recognition. Congratulations. Now from Weems Elementary, Olympia Pineda. Olympia Pineda is wonderful and one of the best custodians ever. She not only makes sure the school is clean and comfortable for the students and staff, but she also cares about them. She takes pride in her work and knows that Weems students deserve a safe, clean school environment to do their best work. Weems is a welcoming and inviting place due to her commitment to excellence. Congratulations. From Baldwin Intermediate, we have Tucker Smith. Tucker Smith is being commended for his exceptional dedication as an instructional assistant at Baldwin Intermediate. One of his most remarkable qualities is his unwavering willingness to help others without hesitation or question. He can often be found working in small groups with students. It is evident that he has built strong relationships with his students and is an amazing part of the Husky family. Congratulations to you. From Mayfield Intermediate, Mario Cruz. We have a fan competition going on here, I think. Mario Cruz is a wonderful custodian, a true gem at Mayfield. He is always available whenever asked to do anything and is simply the best. He keeps Mayfield looking spotless. He also helps with lunches and keeps the kids happy. Mr. Cruz is truly deserving of this award. Thank you, Mr. Cruz. From Metz Middle School, we have Steve Del Real. He couldn't be with us tonight, but he also is a dedicated special education instructional assistant at Metz, and we congratulate him in his absence tonight. From Osborne High School, Mr. Dennis Johnson. Also known as DJ. Dennis Johnson is a great asset to Osborne's security team. He is responsive and always has a great attitude. Mr. Johnson not only keeps the students and buildings safe, he also builds positive relationships with the students and knows most of them by name. Mr. Johnson does not hesitate to manage and assist with difficult student situations when needed. Osborne is extremely thankful to have him as a part of the Eagle family. Congratulations. And now from Transportation, Katima Nebsi. Katima Nebsi has been a bus driver for Manassas City Public Schools for 4 years. He has a calm and kind disposition that his students and coworkers love. You can always count on him for a friendly greeting and a big smile. There it is. He greets all of his students with high fives and a good morning every day. He is a safe and conscientious driver that comes to work with a positive attitude, willing to help in any way that he can. Transportation is better because Mr. Nepsey is part of it, and they are reminded often with calls complimenting him from the schools and even the public. Congratulations to you. And from the central office, Ruth Dixon. As a side note, Ms. Dixon and I started with Manassas City Schools at the same time, so I've known her a long time. That's right. Ruth Dixon is always available to help any way she can as the senior technical support specialist for Manassas City. She is quick to respond to problems, and if she does not have an answer, she finds one right away. When it comes to setting up hardware, she is not afraid to crawl under a desk to hook it up. With new employees or position transfers, she is willing to quickly help to get employees set up with everything they need. The best part of Ms. Dixon is she always does her duties with a smile on her face. Congratulations, Ms. Dixon. And these are all of our Pear Award winners for this quarter. Congratulations to all of you. We would not be able to do what we do every day without you. Thank you so much. All good? All right. Congratulations again. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Chair Seberg, that concludes our spotlights for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Radford, and thank you everyone for being here tonight. Before we go on, I'm going to take just a moment to recognize some special people in our audience. Mr. Tim DeMaria, Commissioner of the Revenue, is here with us. Thank you. And we do have representatives from MEA. We have Ms. Jenny Higginbotham, who's the Vice President for Manassas Education Association, Ms. Tammy Potts, who is the Secretary, and Ms. Anna DeMaria, President of Manassas Education Association. Thank you for being here. All right. For board committee reports, the Policy Committee met yesterday.
The Policy Committee met yesterday, and we will present legislative priorities during the discussion agenda.
Thank you, Vice Chair Stevens. Now it's time for citizens' comments. Is there anybody that wished to speak before the board tonight? Do we have anyone signed up? No. Okay. Anyone that wants to speak at all? Okay, moving along. We're on the consent agenda. Can I get a motion, please?
Chair, I move that the School Board of the City of Manassas approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Hollingsworth, second by Mrs. Brooks, that the School Board of the City of Manassas approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Okay. Tonight on the discussion agenda, we have several items, the first of which is student achievement
For Round Elementary School, Mr. Andrew Wilson, principal, will be presenting. Welcome.
Good evening, Chair Seberg, Vice Chair Stevens, Dr. Newman, and members of our board. Thank you so much for having me this evening to give you an update on student growth and achievement at Round Elementary. So this first slide, you'll see a breakdown of our PALS data. In this slide, I see our school vision coming to life. Our school vision at Round is to increase access to opportunity for all students. I would argue that nothing represents access more than unlocking the keys of literacy for our children here in Manassas. Literacy is a clear priority for us at Round and here in Manassas City for good reason. So we see that coming to life here in some of our growth and achievement from 21-22 to 22-23. And as you see it, you can take a look at how we're achieving and growing compared to the state. So this is our foundation for tomorrow. This represents access to instruction and access to opportunities, not just in school, but in life. And so this represents a lot and is a validating piece of data that we're on the right track. I see achievement to be proud of in 22-23 with 82% of our students at the kindergarten level meeting benchmark, 85% in first grade, and 70% in second grade, either matching or exceeding the state average. I also see an opportunity. We have 18% of our students in kindergarten, 15% in first grade, and 30% of our students in second grade that did not meet the benchmark score. So we identified them last spring. We didn't want to wait a minute. And we were ready for them coming back as they matriculated to the next grade level. We were serving them immediately with early intervention in the classroom, as well as our reading support teachers. So again, reporting out means owning our data, and we have a lot to be proud of as far as our growth and achievement at Round, and I really am humbled with the opportunity to share that with you this evening. We also have the luxury of a clear focus. If you take a look at our third grade data from 21-22 to school year 22-23, you see a reduction in our pass rate, the students that met or exceeded that proficiency level in third grade. So we have a clear focus as far as that area of need, and that's something we very much own and have acted upon, and something that I look forward to sharing more detail on here in a slide coming later. So this slide here tells a story. I have never apologized for being competitive. And, you know, when you think about competition, you think about who are we competing against. And to me, it's not who we're competing against, but what we're competing against. And to us at Round, it's what we're competing against is the idea, the notion that our students here in Manassas City can't outperform the state. And as you see in this slide, we've proven that we can and we will outperform the state. And those opportunities and those levels of access that our kids in this community deserve will be fought for and provided for them. As you know, in our strategic plan, our goal is 80%. That's our target, 80%. That's a target worth reaching to and through, and that's what we plan to do at Round. This slide provides a snapshot of our raw pass rates in the blue, our recovery in the red, growth in the green, and our L progress in purple. So you can see how that looks as far as 21-22 school year and last school year 22-23. Overall, school-wide combined pass rate, there was an increase in reading. You see that the recovery rate is less than, in 22-23 is less than in 21-22, and that's because we had, let me describe recovery. First of all, recovery is the students in 4th grade that failed the 3rd grade SOL that receive remediation and intervention throughout their 4th grade year and pass their 4th grade SOL in reading. So when you reach back to 2021, we had more students that failed the reading SOL during that school year, which you can see that during 21-22, they ended up passing their 4th grade SOL with just that 13 recovery points. As you see, our raw pass rate is higher, but our recovery rate seems lower because how all that matriculates from the next year. Hope that makes sense. And then our growth, something to be proud of, that represents adequate growth deemed by the state as far as the accreditation from fall to spring as far as the Virginia Growth Assessment measure. And then, of course, our L progress, a very important piece as well. As you see in math, we experienced a lot of growth from 21-22 to 22-23, with a large increase in our raw pass rate school-wide as far as combined SOLs. Again, the same dynamic is demonstrated when it comes to recovery, just based on how we went from 2021, 21-22, and now to 22-23. And then growth puts us at a 96% accreditation rate. I love the story that this tells. I think this illustrates something very important. I appreciate the perspective that it provides us. This shows us how students from Round perform over time. And as you've heard me talk about, I'm sure, our school vision is not designed to impact a child just on a given school year or during their time with us at Round, but that impact is meant to last and is designed to last, and that's very meaningful to us. So this is validating of our vision. Like I said, we're looking for learning that lasts, and as you see how students travel throughout Manassas City, we have evidence that they continue to achieve at the next level. So that is definitely a validating piece of information. So I'd like to share some insight on what we credit growth to and something that we look forward to building off of. I talk a lot about alignment and the importance of alignment and simplifying the work we do to make sure that every person, whether it be a custodian, cafeteria, classroom teacher, or principal, is all looking through the same lens of what we want for our students and what we want for our community, and constantly auditing our actions against that to say, in the next 5 minutes, in the next 5 days, in the next 5 months, are my actions or are our collective actions consistent with our vision? And it really helps to simplify things as it makes decision making, which remains collaborative. It makes it very easy when you can put everything against that clear vision and really focus on being consistent with that. And we also ask ourselves, are we as individuals, are we as a collective, or our processes and systems, are those things reflective of a culture of collaboration and growth? That's what we really focus on, and we really keep it simple and really lean into that and dive deep into those areas. If I had to determine what my nerd area is, it would definitely be collaboration. I can't get enough of thinking about school culture, climate, what does high quality collaboration looks like. So the processes we have in place in Manassas City have been such a labor of love to integrate those in a meaningful way into our schools with a cycle that works, the collaborative planning process. really refining the work we're doing within the targeted support block and other structures that really support the targeting of instruction to meet the needs of every student. And it's an all hands on deck effort to continually analyze and refine our systems. That perspective cannot begin and end with me. That has to be a shared mission where everybody is identifying opportunities for us to grow individually, as well as the systems and processes we've put in place. Nothing is ever finished. Everything remains open-ended. Everything, we're always looking for opportunities to improve, and collaboration is the tool that allows that to happen. So we try to really reflect that in all that we do, collaboration and growth. So I asked myself, okay, you're really into collaboration, right? That's your nerd area. What does that look like? How do you define that? How do you measure that? What are the indicators of high quality collaboration? When I'm hearing really deep dialogue that leads to discourse, when you're in a room and educators can professionally disagree and tear something apart, put it back together, and ultimately know that we're in that room for the best interest of our kids, and we're all fighting for that together, and we are going to be able to have discourse, that's a high quality level of collaboration. I like that feeling. When I see it, I point it out, I reinforce it, and there may be elements of discomfort in the moment, and my staff laughs at me because I'll say, this was the best meeting of the school year. One of those meetings happened today. At the end of the meeting, there was some discomfort. There's really high quality professional discourse. We're all working in the same direction. We're very much aligned with our vision. And at the end of the meeting, I just reinforced that discomfort is important because learning is uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. Without discomfort, we won't make progress. So we have to have those difficult conversations as adults so that the best product possible can be in the classroom for our kids. And so that's a key thing that I really focus in on. Now you have to create the conditions for that. That's a big part of my job, right? We have to have an environment in which adults can collaborate within the cycle that works, that's safe, that's people can be safe taking, being vulnerable. And that vulnerability leads to trust, and that foundation of trust allows for us to have real conversations that unpack our needs, acknowledge our needs, and help us move forward. So that's a piece that I'm really proud to build off of. So as we talked about, we have the luxury of a very clear focus. Our data tells us that our third grade cohort that matriculated up to fourth grade this school year is an area of distinct need, as well as our historical data tells us that third grade reading is always a challenging area. So we took that challenge head on last spring once we received our third grade SOL scores, and we did a root cause analysis with the team. We took a deep dive and we used a protocol called the 5 Whys, where we really kind of cultivated the root cause of that underachievement. And we focused in on foundational literacy gaps, specifically with that cohort. So in response to that, we had an action plan. We identified students that needed intervention. Day one, week one, we worked together to leverage our resources, leverage our collaboration, have those difficult discussions that are continuing, that allow us to identify the students that need targeted support, design that targeted support to meet those needs, and execute that targeted support. Now, the complacency won't happen. That conversation continues. That's alive and well. We have to continue to evolve with our student need, understand it, and respond to it as professionals. So what does that look like in a little more depth? It really comes down to, when we talk about refinement, what does that mean? We're really articulating the many things that interact with each other to best support students. As you know, we have whole group reading instruction, small group targeted reading instruction, as well as our targeted support block. Those things, there has to be connectivity between those things. There has to be an interaction between those things that has to be well articulated, and that requires collaboration at a high level to ensure that that's happening. We have a new structure this year called the Collaborative Intervention Team process. That was developed with teachers last spring. We meet twice monthly. We have a structure that allows us to really take a deep dive into individual student need, understand what those needs are, and work together leveraging all the talent in the room to best design the interventions necessary to generate the progress that creates the access that is reflective of our vision. We know that direct, explicit phonics instruction matters for our kids and perpetuates the growth. So we're leveraging those resources. Again, without the collaboration, that's limited, but with it, it's very powerful. So discussing how we utilize those resources, how we utilize our human resources within our teams, within our reading support teachers. So moving forward, we have a clear line of sight and clear direction on how we are going to take that cohort to and through our goals. In summary, just coming back to the consistency piece, the alignment with the strategic plan, clear focus, everybody deeply understands our purpose, what their role looks like in contribution to that purpose, and the commitment to collaboration and continuous growth as a culture, not just as a daily practice, but something deeper, something that defines us and defines our work, brings meaning and fulfillment. Ongoing refinement of systems, nothing is ever finished. It would be much more convenient that way, but everything is open-ended, everything can grow with us, and it's our responsibility to ensure that that happens. We're going to continue to focus on literacy and the keys that will unlock for our students, and focusing on learning outcomes, acknowledging our data, where we're at, and working actively and aggressively to address it. We're complementing current systems with systems that enhance. Cycle That Works has proven effective for us. That high-quality collaboration is alive and well. Cooperative learning strategies and structures is something I believe in and have seen the effectiveness of in the classroom. And we're going to continue to leverage that and layer that into meaningful discussions within our collaborative learning teams. So just coming back to our school vision, it continues to be our guide, our purpose, our litmus test for everything that we do and why we do it. And we know that the impact we're having on our kids really matters, feels good. We appreciate your support in allowing us to do that to the best of our ability. And we know that that impact will continue to last through K-12 and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Questions or comments from the board? Mrs. Brooks?
I want to say thank you for sharing your passion with us tonight. I really enjoyed hearing how much you really are dedicated to these kids. And thank you for the continued collaboration and growth that we see you doing, and to your staff as well. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else over here? No. Mrs. Braja?
Yes. Oh, sorry, yes.
I'll come back to you.
Sorry. All right, I couldn't talk very well last night. I hope I'm talking better tonight. It was my pleasure to introduce you to council last night, and I really wanted to celebrate. Well, I didn't have a whole lot of time because I didn't want to take away from your time, but I really wanted to celebrate your math scores. It really shows that when you have a clear vision like you do, it might be because you're a little competitive, but because of that clear vision, you know exactly where to take your students and your staff, and it clearly shows. So I truly appreciate that. I do have a question.
Sure.
With this, I have, as long as I've been on this board, I've never seen, and I don't recall when my kids were young in elementary school taking the PALS test. Do we do a mid-year test as well?
We do.
Okay, so what I'm thinking is, do we do any kind of PALS tests in the beginning for third grade before they take the SOLs? Just so we know who we need to identify.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. So we've identified them in the end of their second grade year. Any student that did not meet benchmark in second grade, we identify them and begin delivering intervention. We have before, we've done things like PALS too. There's a lot of different assessment measures to identify those students. So that's a great discussion point in the collaborative teams, where we talk about what is the best way, the most efficient way to get the data we need on individual students, so that we can weave that into the collaborative intervention team meetings, as well as the collaborative learning teams within our CLT. So that's a great question.
Definitely worth a discussion.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mrs. Williams. Mrs. Brescia.
Thank you so much for your presentation today. I really like it. So I think Mrs. Brooks said your passion really comes through, and I really appreciated that, especially sharing the specifics with us. And it's very clear that you and your staff are all very dedicated and certainly have really great results to show for that. My first question is a technical question. On the cohort analysis you provided for grades 3 through 6, for grades 5 and 6, that breaks out specifically the round alum, or are those the general grades 5 and 6 results?
That's specific to round.
Those are specific to. Good job.
Thank you.
The other question I wanted to ask, and I love the opportunity to look at spring of one year versus fall of the next year, seeing how that compares to the state, because that really paints a whole picture, not just for us here in the division, but the community watches these meetings too. So to be just continuously planting the seed about what an important 2 months those are,
Sure.
potentially to keep thinking about those. And I did notice something interesting, and maybe there's no obvious explanation for this, but between 2021 and 2022 and 2022 and 2023, there was only a 2-point only a 2-point slide between grades K and 1, whereas there was a much, I think it was a 14-point slide, 15-point slide between grades 1 and 2 over the same period of time. So I'm wondering what might explain if you have any thoughts on what might explain
Sure.
that
No, it's a
difference.
great question. And you talked about the summer slide, right? So from spring to fall, how do we ensure that retention and transfer of skills and proficiency of standards is carrying forward with us to the greatest extent possible? So we talked about that as in the scope of K-12 or K-8, but obviously from year to year, just K to 1, what does that look like, and what reasoning can we apply to any sort of slide in that data? The benchmark itself is distinguished at each grade level, so it's not necessarily, they're not assessed on exactly the same skills in the spring as they would be in the fall of their spring kindergarten, as they would be in the fall of their first grade year. So it is kind of tough to pinpoint exactly what to attribute that to. I definitely want to reinforce the idea of learning throughout the summer to the greatest extent possible with our families. We've tried to really deepen, that partnership with our families, especially around the concept of literacy, even if that's just reading every night and asking a couple questions, to keep that love and passion for reading going with a child is critically important. But that's something we're definitely conscious of, is how are these skills transferring with us, but it's kind of tough to pinpoint just based on the variance of what's assessed from spring of one grade level to fall of the next.
Okay, I know it's not you're not taking the spring K test again in your first grade.
Sure.
There are limitations in that, but because there was such a difference between the grade levels, I was curious if maybe if something had happened that our rising first graders had access to something that our rising second graders did not, but it doesn't sound like there was anything formal.
Not distinctly, no.
I also wanted to make sure to give you the credit, and I know, like we were just talking about, these are different tests and different, but the PALS exam is a benchmarking exam. When you look at the 21-22 second graders, they were at 47%. 47% of those second graders were proficient, and in 22-23 it was 46 proficiency. So it wasn't, obviously the analysis of the SOL pass rate, it's a negative 14 point year over year, but that same cohort of kids, it looks like it was actually a issue of flatness and not an issue of sliding backwards. So I just wanted to make, so it's not great news, but it's better news than losing 14 points.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's a great note. Yeah, we found that consistent through line there as well with PALS at the second grade level and those third grade reading scores.
And my last question, what I'm always interested in, you mentioned our strategic plan goal is 80% proficiency in math and reading. For what it's worth, I think Round is showing some very promising indications that you guys are going to get there by 2027. You can see that in your performance for your, in your PALS cohorts. But if there is anything you would like to offer to us for us to consider, what we could further do to support you as a board, I want to give you that opportunity.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we have worked hard to build systems that are sustainable, that are built to last, that need time, that need continuity. No doubt, I hope you felt my sense of urgency here tonight because this is life-changing work, and there is an absolute sense of urgency that will never pull back on. But the continuity, I have found in working with teams that from year to year you see it becoming like culturized. The systems, become a routine. It gets generalized. It becomes part of the culture, and then you see the impact on kids very directly. So I think that takes time, and I think the continuity element is extremely important, and I can't thank you enough for all of your support with allowing us to do the work we're doing and build off some of the growth that we've seen. So thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Breja. Mrs. Spall, you have a question?
Just a comment. I wanted to thank you, Mr. Wilson, for all the exciting information. I want to specifically say that the last page where you show the mountain and you don't stop at high school graduation, but you go to full access of life opportunities, demonstrates to me what happens inside the walls of Round. So we're very proud of the work that you guys have done, and thank you for your leadership, and we believe that you're going to make it all the way. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Vice Chair Stevens.
Just real quick, I too really like that last slide. I think it's a great visual. It's a strong visual about how much elementary education is the foundation of everything else we do. And without that strong elementary education, our kids don't have a foundation for success, and that success that leads them through their lives. I did have one quick question, and that is with the VGAs. Our third graders take the VGA for the first time in the fall of third grade. Are you, or has the state yet developed or discussed how that data can be used for instructional purposes? I mean, have you found a correlation between specifically 22-23 third graders, how they did at the fall VGA and how they did on the SOL? Have you seen a correlation, or is it too early in the life of the VGA assessment to do this?
That's a great question. I mean, we're still learning about how to best respond to that data and how to apply it in a meaningful way within our collaborations. Students are identified, within that fall growth assessment, and it's been an ongoing discussion, working collaboratively with our supports at central office to best utilize that and respond to it. So it's meaningful data, but we're continuing to learn how to best utilize it within the other data sources we have. Like we talked about PALS spring, benchmark in second grade, responding to that immediately, taking action on that. So really identifying the different sets of data and how all those contribute to the collaboration, problem solving, and decision making that best allow us to target instruction for each student. So,
Well, thank you. What you're doing so far, we can see from the data is successful. So it's great to see. I like to see how well our students are doing and that they're really being successful. So thank you, and thank you to the team at Round
Yes.
for all the work they do every day.
yes, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. You have a lot to be proud of, and I just want to say I appreciate your ownership of the results, good and not as good, and your commitment going forward to help our students reach the top of that mountain. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Next up on our agenda is school board legislative priorities, and Vice Chair Stevens, who chairs the policy committee, which is tasked with the initial review of these legislative priorities, will have those for us tonight.
Thank you. I'm not usually someone who presents, so this is a little bit different. Every year we develop legislative priorities to present at our legislative breakfast in December, both to the City Council, to our state delegate, and to our state senator. We went over them yesterday. We'll then again present them in January down in Richmond when we go down for Legislative Advocacy Day with the VSBA. Our priorities are in line with our strategic plan. Our priorities are also in line with the surrounding school divisions. And just a real quick go over, I'm not going to go over them piece by piece by piece, but what you see in front of you is our legislative priorities. Our first thing are our demographics. We have a very unique school division in that we are a minority majority school division. If we next look at our vision, our mission and our vision are aligned with our strategic plan, as is everything we do here in Manassas City. We then have our priorities. Our first priority is to strengthen Virginia's teacher pipeline. As we know, not just in Northern Virginia, in Virginia and across the country, we do have a teacher shortage. We need to work to strengthen the pipeline. We need legislation that allows us to do so. We need to ensure that we have nationally competitive teacher retention, which means that policies are put into place and legislation is passed that supports our initiatives in retaining high-quality teachers. Improve funding for school support positions. These are equally important. Without our support staff, our teachers can't teach and our administrators cannot administer. Increase options for elementary education endorsement. Elementary education endorsement is a challenging task. We would like more options for teachers to join the community and be licensed. Shorten the required break in service for Virginia retirement system retirees to return to critical shortage positions. Yesterday, this was something we talked about. Right now, just about every teaching position in schools is a critical shortage area. It used to be you had to wait, if you were a retiree, you had to wait 12 months before you could apply back to teach. Then it was shortened to 6 months. We would like to see it shortened to 1 month, which is what it is in several other states. 6, improve and strengthens Virginia's school support staff pipeline. We don't just have a shortage of teachers, we have a shortage of support staff. Modernize Virginia classroom supports, which relates to the SOQs, the standards of quality. Then we have improved the Virginia workforce readiness, and I think that's an area we're already very strong in with Ms. Taylor, but we could use more legislation to support additional development and funding in that area so that our students can be workforce ready when they graduate from Osborne. Enhance support for student advanced academic options, and this specifically relates to the Governor's School at Innovation Park. Increase student mental health supports. As we all know, post-COVID education, public education, we see a lot more mental health needs, not just for our students, but staff as well. And then finally, school support construction, renovation, and modernization. This allows us to receive additional state funding and otherwise contribution to school division efforts to conserve energy and natural resources by expanding renewable energy and energy efficiency initiatives and opportunities. This is something we've worked on with our electric school buses. Statements of support and opposition organized by state legislative K through 12 subject areas. Conduct and discipline. We would oppose all bills that mandate additional statewide disciplinary procedures that inhibit school administrators when immediate corrective intervention is required or otherwise limit administrators' discretion in disciplinary matters. Finance, purchasing, and food service. We support and advocate for all bills prohibiting the use of lottery funds to supplement at general funding for Virginia school divisions. We oppose bills that usurp the authority of local school boards to allocate funding between instructional and support expenditures. We oppose all bills that establish uniform minimum standards for the erection of new or renovation of existing school buildings. We support bills that eliminate the local school division budgetary match currently required to receive Virginia Preschool Initiative VPI funding, allowing school divisions to expand preschool opportunities without negatively impacting funding for other programs and services. Instruction and standards of learning. We support and advocate for all bills directing the state to define comparable verified units for graduation purposes for students transferring to Virginia school divisions from other states. Instructional technology, we support legislation that would require the Commonwealth to provide funding for every household in the Commonwealth to have access to fixed broadband or wireless broadband connection service with unlimited data allowances and speeds of 25 Mbps download and 3 Mbps upload. We were able to provide, for those of you who aren't aware, we were able to provide during COVID when we were hybrid and when we were virtual with hotspots to any family that did not have access. We would like for something like that to continue so all families have access all the time. And if anybody has any questions.
Any questions or comments from the board?
I don't have any questions, but I have a comment. I appreciate the hard work you guys have done on this because it is a lot of deletions, a lot of additions, a lot of changes, and it seems to be real focused on what our public schools need out of Virginia, out of the state and the General Assembly. So I appreciate your hard work. Thank you.
And I have to say, it wasn't really the that's tomorrow. It wasn't really the policy committee. We just looked over the document. It was the superintendent's cabinet and central office staff that did all the background work and put this together, the deletions and the additions. So they're the ones who've put in the hard work. We're just the people sitting up here saying yes or no, and I'm the person presenting. So they've put in all the hard work.
Oh, I'm picturing you guys. Tearing it up, rewriting. Okay, so thank you very much, staff, for all that support.
So this will move forward to our action agenda?
Yes, it will move forward to the action agenda. Ms. Brescia.
Next meeting.
Just one, I wanted to offer a part of experience that I have. One of our legislative priorities that's mentioned here are the removing the requirement signed by 2 reputable persons who reside in the school division or the applicant's community that the person is of good moral character. That is under legislative priority number 6. That's a current requirement for bus drivers. And I wanted to, people might read that and interpret like, oh, maybe you're making our buses less safe or something like that. And I just want to say that we actually have experience with this at our the preschool of which I'm on the board of directors, where we have required over the years these 2 letters of reference, and it does create a major barrier. And we address it every year. Should we get rid of it? Because then you're putting your employment prospects in the hands of 2 people who usually can't be family members to have to come up with this. Our bus drivers still have to pass background checks. They still go through, fingerprinting and all that good stuff. So I am personally satisfied that this will keep our kids safe on the bus. And if there is anybody who is reading this and thinking, uh-oh, this sounds dangerous, it is a barrier that is unnecessary and quite burdensome. And we need bus drivers. So anybody who's watching, who's thinking about driving a bus, please.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Brescia. It's quite true, because not only do our bus drivers have to pass employment screening, which includes background checks and fingerprinting, they also have to pass DMV testing to have, I believe it's a kind of CDL license, and that is strictly controlled by the Department of Transportation at the federal level. So to just become a bus driver, even before becoming a school bus driver, there are a lot of hurdles you have to pass. And there are some very tight, strict regulations you have to meet. So we do need bus drivers, and if you might be interested, we have electric buses, so.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Next up on our Finance and Operations and our discussion agenda is a memorandum of understanding for shared services between the City of Manassas and Manassas City Public Schools. And Chair of the Educational Support Committee, Jill Spall, will discuss.
Thanks, Chair. So there's a memorandum of understanding out for our review offered by the City of Manassas. This is a 2023 revision to the existing understanding for MCPS playgrounds, courts, and fields, which are available for community recreational use at the conclusion of MCPS instruction programs, student activities, and/or activities of school-related groups. So the following school facilities are already made available to the city's Division of Parks, Culture, and Recreation, and also the public for recreational use. The categories are for playgrounds, outdoor use, and fields. So the title of courts can mean basketball courts, tennis courts, or multipurpose courts, whichever is appropriate for the school that is being referenced. So at Baldwin Elementary and Baldwin Intermediate, it includes playgrounds and outdoor courts. At Hayden, it includes all three categories. At Metz, it had outdoor courts, and now it adds fields. Osborne still includes their outdoor courts, and Round, Weems, and Dean includes all three amenities, playgrounds, courts, and fields. So the Educational Support Committee supports the addition for Metz to make fields available for a fee to the citizens when there are opportunities for use outside of our normal.
And when will that come before the full board?
Next
meeting.
meeting,
November meeting.
our November meeting.
Okay, so this is formalizing what we already have in place, but adding in the Metz fields.
That's correct.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
I just want to add, not only does it add Metz, but we're already working with the city and Parks and Rec. It just makes it official on the paperwork.
Sounds good. Thank you. Vice Chair Stevens with a question.
Thank you. This is something that's come up off and on over the years, and I know it's been addressed, but just for clarification, when these spaces are used by other than the school division, who is responsible for upkeep?
Good evening. So as it currently stands, Manassas City Public Schools is in charge of our school facilities, and we take care of all upkeep, maintenance, and cleanup and everything else. I think under this agreement, the city has decided is going to assist us in that effort. They'll be partners with us in that effort.
And can I assume that they're, like, especially for Metz and for Osborne, there are some strict requirements as to the usage, as to what kind of usage there can be? Because, like at Osborne and at Metz, those courts and the fields are used regularly by the students for team sports. So are there some requirements or parameters for how those fields and those courts can be used?
I don't know about that. I mean, the fields, the only parameters are the fields will be used for what they were designed for, right? So I don't know if there are any other parameters out there other than that. We want our community help pay for those fields. We want that community to help protect those fields and help us maintain those fields and keep those fields in good working order at all times.
And Vice Chair, they cannot interrupt the use of those fields by our student athletes. And we have the right, which is in the MOU, to refuse use based on the condition of the field or other issues. So,
thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hawkins, for clarification, and thank you, Ms. Paul.
Also, for Osborne specifically, the outdoor courts are really the main MOU piece at this point in time.
Thank you very much. All right, Andy, don't go away. Next up on our discussion agenda, Finance and Operations, our CIP, our Capital Improvement Plan, Mr. Andy Hawkins will present.
Good evening. So several weeks ago, the school board had a budget work session, and we discussed in detail the capital improvement plan, where we're asking for approval for FY25 for next school year, but we've also shown projections for the next 5 years going forward. And those are on your screen right now. So let's break it down a little bit. Our city transfer has been in the past $3 million for the capital improvement fund. It's been lowered this year by $960,000 in an effort to provide additional compensation to all staff beginning on January the 1st. This $960,000 will provide an additional 1% increase in compensation for all staff beginning on January the 1st. We will also have asking for to use some of our fund balance, $3.2 million of our fund balance, and we'll discuss the project as we go on, for a total of about $5.2 million in proposed funding in the CIP for FY25. So $200,000 of this money will be spent for technology infrastructure, not technology, not for computers for the kids in the schools. That's already budgeted in another line. We're one of the very few school divisions in the state who offer pre-K through 12. All of our students have access or been assigned laptops, but this funding is to make sure that our infrastructure is working and kept up to date at all times to support those laptops that all of our students have. One of the big projects that we've got going forward that we will be going on for the next possibly 3 years at Osborne is replacing the roof at Osborne High School. The roof in the main building was replaced in 2000 and the west wing in 2007. And we're beginning to experience a minor roof leaking primarily in the auditorium area. Osborne roof replacement will be done over the next, hopefully the next 3 years. We're working that out now with the engineer to determine, how much can we do each summer. We only have, I want to say it's like 60 days, 63 days between time school's out and school starts back that we have to work in. So we are working now to make sure that we can get all of that, each phase done within that short period of time, and hopefully we can have the roof, over 300,000 square foot roof at Osborne replaced in 3 summers. Another thing for FY25 is the fire alarm replacement system at Osborne. Osborne will be our last school that we have that needs to have their fire alarm system replaced. Approximately 5 years ago, MCPS was approached by the fire marshal directing us to upgrade all of our fire alarm systems throughout our division. We've taken one each summer for the last 5 years, and Osborne is our last one, and that is scheduled to be completed this next summer. We are concerned, we are engaging with the vendor as we speak because we want to use winter break, spring break, and have all of the equipment ready to be able to put our fire alarm system in over that short period of time I just spoke about to get everything going before school starts next school year. And finally, the $3.2 million that we had taken out of the capital improvement, the fund balance, will be used to provide a connector between the Johnson Learning Center and the main Osborne building. And that diagram that is shown on your screen was prepared for us by RRMM Architects, who drew this for us and gave us the cost proposal of what they thought it was going to cost in this market to have this connector. Finally, going forward in the out years, we will continue to invest $200,000 annually in that technology infrastructure to keep it up to date. We'll be doing at Osborne in the out years at 26, 27, and 28. You'll see window and door replacements. Our concession stand needs to be, something needs to be done with the concession stand. It either needs to be replaced in its entirety or something different there. The ground up under the concession stand, one side of it is sinking lower than the other, causing cracks in the cement and in the walls. We need to do something different with the concession stand as it is right now. And we're working with some architects and engineers now to determine what's the best course of action that we need to take in these out years. And we hope to have an additional turf field installed in the FY29, FY30 school year at Osborne. And at Metz, you can see we're moving our restroom refurbishment efforts from Osborne to Metz now in the FY26 and 27. We've done, I think, 8 bathrooms at Osborne, complete renovation, and they look beautiful. And we are hopeful we're going to go move to Metz now and start restroom refurbishment there at Metz. We're going to look forward to putting bleachers and a scoreboard on the athletic field at Metz, some more window and door replacements at Metz, and another turf field installation in 27 and 28 at Metz on the current soccer field or athletic field out back where inside the track. So that's our 5-year capital plan. Are there any questions, concerns, or comments about the plan?
I do have a question. After we transfer the $3.2 million from our fund balance, about what is left in our fund balance?
So the fund balance as of right now has not been confirmed. We normally come to the school board in December with that. But right now, we're estimating that our current fund balance is roughly $22 million. So
Okay.
if you take 3 from it, there'll be 19 left over.
Okay, thank you. I forgot that number. Thank you.
Mrs. Brescia.
Thank you very much. I actually really appreciate the picture of Osborne's roof in particular because that is a big roof. You see it when you see it from the ground.
It's hard to appreciate how big Osborne is until you see it from above and see how huge the school is.
So I really appreciate that. I also just wanted to ask just a general question. I'm watching so the other CIP discussion off to the side is Jenny Dean that that process is underway. And we are, the city will be floating bonds for Jenny Dean, correct?
We are in, no, the bonds will be done by the city. The city is the only, as the governing body, is the only authorized by the state of Virginia to be able to float the bonds. But we've been working with the city now for a number of years to establish a funding plan for the Dean School. It's been going on now for probably 3 or 4 years. So we're pre-funding the school right now, setting up funding based on advice we got from their financial advisors. And so the school division, the city, is fully prepared for the estimated cost for the Dean School project.
I've just been, interest rates have been rising, and so I was wondering if the rising interest rates have changed at all what the calculation has been between our cash balance and our...
No, we have not had an update of that recently, but we do have one bit of good news is that the state has some school construction grants that are out there. The deadline for that, applying for that grant is, I think it's November the 30th or something, it might be the 28th or the 30th. And we're meeting with the state through Zoom, I think this Friday, to learn more about that. But we are planning on submitting to Dean School Project to the new construction grants that they offer, and we could get up to 30% of the cost of the Dean School. I don't know. I don't think we'll get 30% because it's based on our composite index, but we could get between 10 and 20%. So, 10% would be $6 million, 20% is $12 million. That's a huge amount of money to help us in that effort that we hadn't planned on when we were planning for funding for the new Dean School. So those are things that we're really looking forward to, and we think that will help us better prepare for the Dean School cost.
Thank you. And the whole purpose of this was anybody who was nervous that any of these projects might interfere with Jenny Dean. That's not this is all completely separate, budgeted, accounted for, and all good.
No, the new Dean School is a top priority for both the city and the schools, and will not be affected in any way by these projects.
Yes, and I did want to offer one final compliment. Every time I find myself at Osborne, I do try to check on the renovated bathrooms, and they do continue to be beautiful. It is October 24th, and at the last check, they're still looking great, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Breja. Mrs. Spall, do you have anything?
I just wanted to thank you, Mr. Hawkins, for the photo representations on all of the projects so that we can all get a good idea of what we're looking at. And I want to say that I'm very excited about the connector for the Johnson Learning Center, and I thank you for keeping the best interest of our kids always top of mind. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Spall. Vice Chair Stevens.
Just real quick, everything you've presented to us this evening is not new. We've had conversations and discussions about everything that is on the CIP. So while we may not be discussing it here as a full board, we have discussed these items during committee meetings, during budget work sessions. So none of this is new information. And some of these items, the roof, the turf field, the fire alarms, those are all ongoing projects that have been in the works at one stage or another for several years. So thank you for your due diligence, the work you've done. And I did kind of like looking at the aerial picture of Osborne. I don't know why. It seems so small from the ground, but when you look at it from above, it's really quite large. And it's larger than some of the other high schools in the area. Just fun fact.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Hawkins.
Thank you.
Next up is board member comments, and I will go first to our student representatives. Miss Island, you're first.
Thank you. I'd like to kick things off by expressing my gratitude to all of our presenters tonight. And I'd also like to give a quick shout out to all of the well-deserved recipients of the Apple and Pear Awards. Before I hand it off, I hope everyone had a fantastic end to the quarter, and I look forward to seeing everyone keep up with the great work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Island. Miss Bland, do you have comments this evening?
Good evening. Congratulations to the Mets football team and all the Apple and Pear Award winners. These are such great achievements in our community, and I'm so proud of everybody. I would also like to congratulate all students on finishing up the quarter. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Bland. Now go to Mrs. Brooks.
Congratulations and kudos to all of those honored tonight. I just want to say it was a huge group, so congratulations. It makes me so proud to see that so many great things are happening in Manassas City Public Schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hollingsworth.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to congratulate everyone that was recognized tonight, and thank all the presenters for all your hard work and your commitment to presenting quality information to the board. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Brescia.
I will add to the choir congratulating all of our winners, Apple, Pear, Choir, football. Very exciting to see all of that. I'd also like to extend on our consent agenda today were gifts, grants, and bequests, and I'm always stunned by how generous our community is to our public schools. So thank you for everybody who donated in the past, whatever it is, 90 days or however often that comes up. I also just want to put out a shout out that tomorrow is the Manassas City Police partners with us to do the E3 series. Substance abuse is the topic for tomorrow. If you have time to join, it is in the evening. It's at 5:30 p.m. So please come. Order. The food is provided. Our community partners are present. If you've not been to one of those events, they are extremely worthwhile. And substance abuse is. And that can come for anybody at any time. It's worthwhile for any parent to attend that. And finally, next Tuesday is Halloween. So be mindful as you're out there driving in the evening. There's going to be lots of little ones. So I hope everybody stays safe and has a great holiday if you celebrate.
That's all.
Thank you. Mrs. Ball.
Yes, I just wanted to take tonight to highlight the recent OHS principal report on graduation rate, which suggests that congratulations are in order to the students, staff, and community of Osborne for earning the highest on-time graduation rates in the history of Osborne, or at least since the state started tracking graduation rates in 2008. The graduation rate improved from 77.1 to a whopping 89.5%. And Osborne has reduced their dropout rate from 18% to 7.7, which is one of the lowest in the school's history. So I am very proud to highlight these stellar improvements because our staff and students are still dealing with some serious transient issues that make our work more difficult than it's ever been. I also wanted to acknowledge Ron and Molly Lane for their contributions to the Manassas City Public School community over several decades of service. You will see Ron and Molly jointly won the Alumni of the Year award at the Osborne Alumni Association event last Saturday. And so if you see them, just congratulate them for this distinction because they are very dedicated to our school system and have been for many years. I want to thank everyone that did present tonight and everyone that won awards for their hard work and dedication to Manassas City Public Schools as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Williams?
Absolutely. Congratulations to all of our Spotlight winners. I'm hopeful that Mets, when they grow into Osborne High School, we will see another big painting on the top of the water tower. 2006 state winners. Back in 2006, OHS beat our alma mater, which was Chantilly High School. So I look at that every time and think, wow, but maybe we'll get up there again. That would be exciting. To piggyback on Mrs. Ball's comment about celebrating Osborne High School, we really, it's something to celebrate, so I appreciate you bringing that up. And several of us attended the ribbon cutting for the electric school buses. It was a lot of fun. We got to meet the CEO of Highland, which was, it was nice to see him there. And many of us got to take a ride on the bus from Baldwin Intermediate School, the bus loop over to OHS. And so that was really exciting. I'd also like to congratulate the City of Manassas for winning the VML Innovation Award for the Parent E3 series. Somebody mentioned that that it's going to be held tomorrow night, so definitely attend. Substance abuse is something really, really serious that unfortunately our nation is suffering a lot from. So if you can attend, please do so. And that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you. And Vice Chair Stevens?
Thank you. For me personally, what was exciting with the Apple and Pear Award winners was the special education representation. As a mom and as a teacher, I know how hard you work, and you are truly appreciated for what you do every single day. I also wanted to touch on National Bullying Prevention Month. Manassas City Public Schools partnered with an organization called PACER and the National Bullying Prevention Center. This is a resource that's not just available to schools, it's available to parents and communities. And I'm just going to read the blurb from them real quick. Founded in 2006, PACER's National Bullying Prevention Center actively leads social change to prevent childhood bullying so that all youth are safe and supported in their schools, communities, and online. PACER provides innovative resources for students, parents, educators, and others, and recognizes bullying as a serious community issue that impacts education, physical and emotional health, and the safety and well-being of students. So whether you are a teacher, a support staff personnel, a parent, or a student, you can go to pacer.org and click on National Bullying Prevention Center for free resources that can be downloaded. They can be used at home, they can be used in the classroom, they can be used in the community. PACER's National Bullying Prevention Center is not just in Virginia or the United States, it's global. And World Unity Day Against Bullying is truly around the world and across the globe. So thank you, Manassas City, for partnering with PACER, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank
Thank you, Vice Chair. I would like to say congratulations to all that were honored here this evening, and I also want to take a note on what Ms. Bland offered. We're done with the first quarter already. Also, congratulations to Trey Lawler, our SRO at Mayfield, who will be the new interim chief of police for the city of Manassas. He's out on loan, and we look forward to welcoming him back someday. We've had some of our first round of music concerts this year. I attended the Osborne and Metz Orchestra concerts and the fall choral concert at Osborne, which was fabulous. If you get a chance to go to those concerts, you will not, you will be very happy that you did. Coming up, I'd like to ask my fellow school board members this. All children grow up, except one. Do you know who it is? Who? That's right. Osborne Theater presents Peter Pan, the Boy Who Hated Mothers by Michael Luberis. Come see this ambitious, playful, and adventurous production brought to life by the dynamic cast and crew of Osborne Theater students and directed by Mr. Kite. This production may not be suitable for small children. It's free for Manassas City Public School students, $8 for staff and $10 general admission. It will be presented on November 2nd and 4th at 7 p.m. That's a Thursday and a Saturday evening. And November 3rd and 4th at 1 p.m. Also, good luck to the Osborne academic team. They will be competing on the TV show It's Academic on November 12th. It will be taped and it will air on WIDA in March. Go Eagles. And I also want to just remind everyone to please exercise their right to vote on or before Tuesday, November 7th, because your vote is your voice. Thank you. Can I get a motion? Yes, ma'am.
I move that the school board meeting adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion by Mrs. Spall, second by Vice Chair Stevens, that the school board meeting adjourn. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. We are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.